We're going to start in about 5 minutes. This is the last chance to get coffee, water, and snacks. See you in a few.
Not an the people. And this is what you guys are doing, contributing to all walks of life. And the people I see and they come in, after they leave, they're laughing. And that's part of what you are doing right now here in Europe. Helping people bring forward that good medicine. And that's what I was doing. When we were singing, we had a nature circle when we were doing the fair stuff. We saw 8 black-tailed hawks circling around us. So, and my friends love you every day because they give that courage and that support to everyone. It's like a leader that has that Western technology plus that spiritual background. It's going to bring that love forward again, and that's really all of us. Yeah. I'm very honored, by the way.
Thank you.
We're honored.
Thank you.
Okay, we're good.
While you're doing it, I'm going to be doing a ritual for my church, just one, and if anybody afterward, I do have advice.
You want me to say that?
No, don't do that. I let them know that I'm just doing a ritual stuff. It's an inspiration. The tobacco helping. Thank you. Miigwech.
Good evening, everyone. I want to start in a good way tonight. And I want to let you know who this person is in front of me. His name is Rob Shona. He is from the Ojibwe Nation. And he holds the position of emccubbin, Pierce Corporer Akidabire. He is our Indigenous spiritual advisor. I'm going to be reading our land acknowledgement. And while I do that, Rod will be doing an opening prayer for us, for what we are doing. And I'm holding the sacred medicine of tobacco that Rod has given to me while I read the land acknowledgement. Miigwech. The bike rally recognizes that this gathering we're holding within the modern-day city of Toronto takes place on the historical and traditional territory of many Indigenous nations, including the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat peoples, and more recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island. By making this acknowledgement, we strive to be allies and take an active part in reconciliation by honoring the land, history, and unique Indigenous heritage and culture within the city of Toronto. This fosters our commitment to the recommendations set forth by the Truth and Reconciliation Committee.
Hey, one day. is Shining Thunderbird Eagleman. I'm from the Bear Clan, from Bindagon, Anishinaabe, Pick River, Adonjaba, and Thunder Bay. I'm really learning that beauty within all humanity, where we have that spirit of love, where it's in there. And what I'm doing at PWA is just showing people how to feel that connection with the spirit. So I'm there every Wednesday from 1 to 4, but I'm going to be starting a full-time in August. I'm really looking forward to that opportunity to come forward. But at the same time, it's a spiritual journey that I became to recognize more, where it's a lifestyle where I live like this every day. I can't, turn it off, and I don't want to. Part of my thing is this is a spirit plate to honor our ancestors, where one of the teachings that came forward when I've been doing this at PWA is that when tears are shed, angels are called, and them angels are our ancestors. They come forward when they need us, or when we need them, I say. But I'm just learning as I go along too, like everyone else. And this spiritual message that came to me really strong when in 1997 I went right down to 98 pounds and I was like bedridden. But I seen that light, and that grandfather came to me, and that's part of my teaching, and I try and walk this way every day. And it goes, "O great Spirit, light of light, the voice I hear from the whispering breeze, hear me, for I am small and weak. I need your strength, O great one, nor to be superior to my brothers and sisters, but to conquer my greatest enemy, myself. I seek wisdom in the lessons you have hidden under every leaf and rock, so I may learn from them. Carry this message of life and hope to my people and the people of Mother Earth. Forbid me to judge anyone until I walk 2 moons in their moccasins. And may my hands respect the many beautiful things you have given me, and my ears be sharp to hear your voice. And may my eyes never see the red and purple sunsets, so when my life fades like the sudden sun, my spirit shall come to you without shame." Homigwetch, and thank you for this opportunity, because the way I look at it, it's life-changing, And when you have life-changing opportunities, for me, it's like I try and nurture it every day, and that goodness. And what you are doing with this bike rally and helping people, people are unique in a sense where when they see that people are helping them, and all the programs that we have at PWA and for all walks of life, it's incredible. I'm very honored as a helper, as Ashkebewas, and that's a language in my Ojibwe language, Ashkebewas, and that's helper to you. And I'm going to be honored helping every biker, during this journey. It's incredible. Miigwech. Thank you.
Hello, Bike Rally.
Thank you so much, Rod, for that beautiful opening.
Thanks, Rod. We want to thank a few people before we kick this off tonight. Sullivan Diamond, who's joining us as our graphic minute taker. You may have seen this done at a past big meeting. Well, he's back, and we're doing it again. We'd like to thank the MCC tech crew, the church themselves as well for hosting us here tonight, and of course Reverend Jeff Rock, who's a Bike Rally family member. Unfortunately, he's not here with us tonight. He's on vacation, lucky him. And we want to thank Sharon Lynn Lewis, who's in Kingston, has the entire Kingston crew with her, and they're watching this right now in her backyard by a pool, also lucky them. And so a shout out to them, a shout out to everybody in the room. And those who are watching on the live stream, we are pointing at a camera that's over right back there.
Okay, thanks. So welcome to your big meeting. We're here, it's happening, we're all here in person, it's so beautiful, and we're so grateful for this space, as we said. We're thrilled, we're excited, and we are back. It's happening, we're riding to Montreal after long and arduous absence, so we're so excited. We are only 30 days out from departure, August 7th, so summer is speeding by. We're almost there, folks. For those who have joined us on past rallies, we want you to know that there is some new info that will be shared with you this evening. And for those of you who are new to the rally, everything is new. So we're so excited to share with you all the details and things you might have been wondering or asking questions about. I also just realized we forgot to introduce ourselves.
Yeah, kind of did, but we hope everybody knows who we are by now.
I'm Gabby, I'm co-chair. This is Sam.
I'm Sam, also co-chair.
Okay, let me catch up on my notes here. Value time. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna try and move through as quickly as possible. There's a lot of information to cover, so we'll do our best. And if you could please keep all questions to the end of tonight's presentation. There will be time for a Q&A. And also, if you see your team captain here or your crew leader, also feel free to reach out to them after the meeting to ask any more detailed questions. So with that said, let's tell you what we will be covering tonight. Our agenda, just to run through it, is it up there?
It's up.
There we go. We have our community speaker, Javardo from PWA, a message from Jeff Rock, thank you to leadership, 2022 jerseys, which is exciting, accommodation, transportation, day in the life of the bike rally, what's different this year, our COVID-19 policy, because it is still here, fundraising update, Suzanne from PWA, the executive director, will have some words to share, and then we're going to talk about safety, calls for volunteers, and then the Q&A that I mentioned.
Thanks, Gabby. At this time, I'd like to call Javardo Cooper up. He is a member of the community, and he's joining us from the Speakers Bureau, and please spend a few minutes with him. Javardo.
I didn't know I was going to be speaking so soon. Lord.
You need to be right on the mic. You need to be close to the mic. Not that close, but there we go.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so let me catch my breath. Whew. But it's good to be here, and it's good to see each and every one of you. Emma didn't tell me it was going to be all of y'all here, but it's so good to be here before you today. When I walk in the door, I did not prepare a speech at all because I'm a hands-on guy. I like to talk at the spirit of the moment. And when I look at all of you, then I read the poster, the only thing came to my mind was all of you guys are a true example of what a hero looks like. So give yourself a tap on the shoulder. If you want to clap, you clap. So I have this small task to talk about my experience at PWA and the services that PWA offer as a person living with HIV. And so I'm going to start with, on January 20th of this year, my family consists of me and my 2 kids. I have a son and I have a daughter. Now, most of you might heard of the Bahamas as a beautiful sunny island, beautiful beaches. The Bahamas is all that and more, but unfortunately, it's a country that doesn't support gay rights. So I was faced with homophobic. My cars were burned down. My children were being threatened in school. So basically, I had to work in my own country underneath the table. So every time I leave my house, I would have to watch to see who's going to do this and who's going to do what. And so we migrated to Canada for safety. And being a single father, diagnosed 9 years ago with HIV, it's like my whole world came tumbling down. Having to raise 2 kids and having to raise the thought of living with this disease and just trying to get hold of life. But, most countries, they talk about the LGBT community, and the first thing they say about us is that, oh, we're going to end up with HIV and we're going to die. But I face all of that and more. So could you imagine every day raising 2 children and in a fear of your life? When I came to Canada, I didn't know anything about refugee. I didn't know what it was. I just read information on the airport as I were coming here. I just read information, didn't know a thing about moving to this beautiful city of Toronto. When I get here, I was overwhelmed. I was stressed out. I cried for years. My first stop from the airport to the shelter, and 3 days later, which was the 23rd of January, I landed in the doors of PWA. When I get there, I was a stranger. Didn't know anybody, nobody knew me, but they welcomed me as a family. They welcomed me into PWA, the community of PWA, and they sat down and they talked about all the services that community members have to offer. And I said I want to volunteer at PWA, so I'm now volunteering at the front desk. I've been there now for almost like 5-6 months. And what breaks my heart is to know that people come through the doors looking for support, looking for help, looking to be hugged, looking to be loved, looking to be comforted, looking to be fed, looking for information on how to deal with living with HIV. And I get to experience it all at PWA. And I can tell you for sure that what you guys are doing is that you're raising funds to support persons living with HIV. You're raising funds to help families with children, single mom, single dad like myself. When I go to the essentials market at PWA and I'm able to go and choose my own groceries, what I want, unlike certain food banks where they just pack your groceries in a bag and just hand them to you. At PWA, you get to choose your own food. And I want you guys to know that when I take the food home to my kids, they are so excited to know that they can have their favorite cereal, their favorite Cheerios. They like rice, they can have rice. And if you see the smile and the joy that they have knowing that daddy is bringing home food, that's all they know, is that we bring it home to provide, but they don't know what lies behind all of that. So I said all of that to say to you is that what you're doing, you're providing smiles, you're providing joy to families throughout Canada. And I look at all of you and I am so disappointed that I'm not on this bike, but honey, I'm sorry, but no, I'm going to support you guys. I'm going to cheer you on as you go, but listen, going up the stairs is a trouble for me. Could you imagine riding to Montreal? That's like, what 6 days? Sure. You guys are brave. You are brave. And it is just so amazing just to be a part of the PWA family. when I look at the persons that goes in the essential market and I see the smile on their face, I'm so happy to know that I'm a part of that smile, because when you come to the front desk, you get to see this handsome guy. You know, I get to smile with you, I get to talk with you. You know, sometimes in life, people just need a good laugh, you know. People just need to know that somebody cares. And I want you to know that at PWA, we are not just a company, but we are a family. And we share love throughout the community of persons living with HIV. And I just learned for the first time that during the pandemic, PWA was the only organization, AIDS organization, that kept their doors open the entire pandemic. And I said that to say this to you. That happened because of you, because of your support that you gave to PWA. Could you imagine the only organization that kept their doors open the entire pandemic? Could you imagine the deliveries of the food that people get? Man, listen, I have 7 minutes, and I believe my 7 minutes was up. But to be honest, I thought I was going to be nervous because I asked them to give me a shot, you know? But we have a lot of persons that migrated to Canada, coming to this new world, living with HIV, and don't know where their support is going to come from. And a lot of them walk in the door, some of them half out of breath. Is this PWA? I say, yes, get yourself, sit down a little bit, get some water. And some of them just burst out in tears. They just burst out in tears. And as a community worker, as a volunteer, I have to keep my composure and realize you're on the job. So, you know, when you come there and you see me just acting professional, it's the job. But my heart goes out to those members because I'm one of them. And the greatest fear I had, and I'm going to take my seat, was finding out that my children might have been HIV positive. That tore me up for years. My daughter is 10 and my son is 9. So for 10 years, I cried for 10 years, knowing that, what if my kids are HIV positive? And you know when I found out that they were not HIV positive? When we came to PWA and I got them tested. And 10 years of burden, I just dropped that right in the garbage. I was like, oh man. Because I know what it did to me mentally, and I was afraid that I would now have to deal with that all over again. So I want to thank you guys once again for your love, your support. And you guys are brave to ride for 6 days, honey. Listen. But let me tell you what have been my favorite part of this journey. I think the camping. I think that would have been my favorite part. So once again, let's just put our hands together and just give yourself a rounding round of applause for doing a job well done. Some of you are first-time riders. Some of you are returning riders. Some of you, like myself, will never ride, but will support you. And I thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Javarda. That was wonderful. I'm really heartwarmed by your story. So next up, we have our message from Jeff. He sent in a little video, Jeff Rock. We can pull that up, and I'll let Jeff talk to you for a minute. have to lip sync for my life here.
Hey Bike Rally fam, Jeff Rock here, your participant engagement coordinator from the steering committee. I'm also the senior pastor here at the Metropolitan Community Church of Toronto, and a special welcome to our space for the big meeting. I can't be with you tonight, but I did want to let you know about something special. Did you know Lady Gaga is going to be in Toronto on August 6th and 7th? That's our packing day and departure day, and we're trying to get her to come out. So I want each and every single one of you to pull out your smartphones. I know you have one. I want you to take a selfie in our sanctuary, and I want you to post and tag at Lady Gaga, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, or Twitter, or whatever, and let's try and get Lady Gaga to come out. Use the hashtag #Let'sGetGaga and say, Lady Gaga, join us on August 6th or 7th for the People with AIDS Foundation Friends for Life Bike Rally. Use all of our @F4LBR hashtags and @symbols as well. And let's see if we can get Lady Gaga to come out for our launch date or for our packing date. Thanks very much and have a great big meeting.
Thanks, Jeff. Sorry you're not with us tonight. So why don't we follow his instructions? Take out your cell phones. Take those selfies. Go ahead. I'll give you a few seconds to do this.
It's selfie time.
Okay. Okay, so keeping on with our agenda, we would like to thank those people who make the bike rally possible. It's a lot of work. It's countless hours put in by many volunteers. And if you're in the room today and when we call your name, we'd like you to stand up so everybody can see who you are. As we said, Jeff Rock, and he is participant engagement. We'll see him in a few weeks. Todd Davies, nutrition. Simon Lesnez, recruitment and retention. Back. Eric Claver, rustlers. And Brent Everett James, also with the rustlers. This is you.
All right, next we have Yannick Picard, which is our fundraising coach. Harvey K, road support. Nice here, there we go. Eli Lasser and Brent South. They're for team co-leads. We've got Jeff Gibson and Steve Yates for training and support. And let's all give a round of applause for these dedicated volunteers. Another one, a big one.
And it goes without saying, we've got more volunteers than just that. Our teams are led by a pair of wonderful captains. And this year we'd like to, once again, just as we just did, thank each and every one of them. We have Michael Shreve and Vanessa Pinto with Team Rallies Angels. Helen Williams and Rob Walker with Team Incognito. Ken Allen and Mark Johnston with the Glimmer Gams. Steve Yates and Jeff Gibson with the Wonder Gears.
Then we have my old team captains, Dean Miller and Jeff Otto from Phoenix Riding. Ari Kalakian and Jeremy Hall, Clips and Chains Excite Me. Josh Roy and Ricky Guy, Tour de Farce. They're our out-of-town team leads. Simon Lisness and Tim Martin, Team Glitterbutts. David Hughes and Paul Dawson, the Team Sassy Spinners. All right, thank you so much for all of our team captains. You do so much on the ground work that we couldn't do without you, so thank you.
Thanks again, everyone. We're going to talk about jerseys. We're going to unveil them in a second, but first I want to thank Daryl Mabey, who designed them again this year. And Gabby and I worked with him to come up with a theme, and we thought about sort of like a spring awakening, a rebirth, a rejuvenation. After 2 years of not being able to ride to Montreal, we are excited to be reborn and going to Montreal. So, without a further ado, we want to show you the 2022 official jersey.
Here it is.
I guess I took your slide.
That's okay. And next we have PWA staff coming up.
Oh, no, one more.
Right? Oh, wait. No. No.
There's one more jersey, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So
There's
some
another
people know that we used to
jersey.
have a sponsorship jersey. That's not happening this year, but instead we are still bringing back the top fundraiser jersey. And for those who have raised $6,000 by the morning of day 4, you'll be in gold. We'll talk a little bit more about fundraising in a few minutes. So, yes,
Now, PWA staff is coming up. Welcome, Michael from PWA.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Reed. I am the bike rally manager at PWA. So I work all year round with Emma Cole as full-time staff, putting this together. So on the ride, it's myself and Emma Cole, who's back there also with the blonde hair. We're trying to look the same so you can find us. So if you need anything on the ride, anything about technical stuff, accommodations, transportation, fundraising, anything like that, just come find us. We're not cyclists, so don't ask us anything about that. Go to your team captains, go to road support. There's tons of support for that. Also on the ride with us from PWA, it will be Anthony Johnson, who is the Director of Development at PWA. So he's our boss, and he's in charge of all fundraising at PWA, not just the bike rally, but he'll be on the road with us, helping out. And then we also have our summer jobs placements, so Mervyn Hall and Marie will also be with us, and they're our assistants. So now we'll move on to some of the nitty-gritty details about the ride. We'll try to go through this quickly. So this is all stuff that's in the handbook. Can you go to 2 slides? Good, perfect. So the handbook is all up online now. Everything is in there that you need. Everything we're talking about tonight is in there, but we're just going to highlight some of the important stuff, some of the changes. But if you have any questions, go to the handbook. If you have any questions about the handbook, go to one of us or to your team captains. And those are on the website. During the ride, we'll have the daily COG, which is the email that goes out every evening, and that will have daily updates as well. So we'll go on to talk about Kingston and Montreal participants. So if you're coming in from out of town, there will be a bus leaving from Montreal from ACCM on Friday the 5th. And that will be at 10 a.m. And so you'll pack up all your stuff, get on the bus, drive to Kingston, do the same thing there, pick up the people in Kingston who are coming, and then come into Toronto. All of your stuff will be taken to the school and locked up, and then you can put it on the truck the next morning at packing day. So again, that's all in the handbook. Accommodations for people from out of town. So this is the first year we've got cheap accommodations for people coming in from outside of Toronto. So that's available still for the Friday and Saturday night before the ride. And it's at formerly Ryerson, now the Toronto Metropolitan University, at one of their residences. And so talk to Emma Cole or go on the website if you need to book that still in Toronto. And then in Montreal, we have our low-cost residences there again at Concordia. That's still available. It's $65 a night. You can book online yourself. Riders, you're reimbursed for the first night if you're staying at the cheap place. And then crew, you're reimbursed for 2 nights because you have to work on the Sunday, bringing everything back. So that's also on the website. Okay, so packing day, that is happening Saturday, August 6th, which is the day before departure. It's at the school where we've had it in the past on Isabella Street, just close to the village. 6-day and 3-day riders, you're gonna bring all your gear. We'll show you the bins. If you haven't seen the bins, we've got one here for you so you can see how big it is. You're gonna pack all your stuff into 2 bins, and then you're gonna load it onto a truck, and then you're not gonna see it again until camp on the first day. So you keep everything that you need for cycling the next day, but then pack everything else into the bins. 1-day riders, you're gonna load your backpack or a small bag with your things for dinner on day 1, on the first night. So like your shoes, a change of clothes for when we get to the farm at the end of that day. Most crew now will be packing their things into their own vehicles, not onto trucks. So check with your crew leads about what your specific crew is going to be doing. And they'll be there, all the crew leads will be there on packing day. Okay, I'll pass it back to the co-chairs.
Hello. Okay, so departure day. If anyone missed it, we're departing from Corktown Common this year, which is new for us. It's such a beautiful park. It's got really natural, like, amphitheater vibes, great for taking photos, great for doing speeches. So we're so excited, and it's, like, beautiful. There's lots of shade. There's bathrooms. Has everything we need. The morning's agenda on departure day will be 7 a.m. rider sign-in opens, 8 a.m. group photos, like I mentioned, 8:30 a.m. speeches. Yes, you will get to hear us all speak to you again. Not just that time, but pretty much every day on the rally. 8:45 a.m. group stretch, 9 a.m. departure, and we will begin our ride. All participants must wear the official 2022 bike rally jersey or crew t-shirt provided at packing day. So remember not to pack away your day 1 jersey on packing day. And if you forget, don't worry, you're not the first. Riders must bring everything they need for their first day on the road and are asked to leave their bicycles in the designated fenced-in area during ceremonies. So don't forget, to have your sunscreen and your tubes and your air and everything else you need for departure day.
Thanks, Gabby. If Lady Gaga shows up, we'll find a place in the itinerary to put her. So the next part we want to talk about is the day in the life of a rallyist. For those who are here this evening or on the live stream, we want to just go through what a typical morning is first. And it's usually a 5 o'clock wake up, and we start packing up our gear. And then you'll go for breakfast, and breakfast service will run from 6 to 7. And there's usually hot coffee when you start. And of course, the evening before, you'll get sort of information about what's happening that day in the daily cog, but you'll have a chance at breakfast to review that. Between 7 and 8 o'clock, we put our bins, we take them to the truck, we put them on, and we get ready at 8 o'clock for the ride for the day. We start with some stretches, some speeches, and then at 8:30 we are rolling from whichever campsite or Queen's University on day 4. And then from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, that's when we're on the road. Breaks, lunches, and more breaks happen during that time. At about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the rustlers who are moving all the riders' personal gear arrive at the campsites. And the first early bird riders will start arriving around 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'm going to talk about the rest of the day, but first I want to say the simpler your camp setup is, the later you can sleep in. So just think about that. So then 3 to 6 p.m. riders and crew set up their tents. People roll in as their day ends on the road. There will be yoga classes on day 2 and 4. There will be physical treatments at the wellness tents, and riders will place our bikes by the designated trucks to be loaded for overnight storage. So whatever truck your bin comes out of, your bike goes into in the evening. Then 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. we have dinner. There are charging stations that will be open and operating. Then there's 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. we all get some free time. There will also be a recovery support group, which will meet privately during that time. And then 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., evening activity and social time. So different nights we have different things planned. There's talent night and karaoke and all sorts of different stuff. And then 10 p.m. is quiet time because we will all be so tired and ready to go to sleep. And so now we would like to invite Emma Cole up to talk about her slides.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so my name's Emma Cole. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a development officer at PWA, so I work with Michael. We normally coordinate our outfits like this and our hairstyles, so we're sort of doppelgangers at this point. So I will be chatting a little bit about the arrival into Montreal, which is the really exciting part because you've worked so hard over 6 days, 600 kilometers. You've made it into Montreal, and this year we're going to be at Place Emily-Gamelin. For those of you who are, sort of long-term riders, we were there in 2018, I believe, and it's a beautiful community garden space downtown. They do a lot of cool programming throughout the summer, and so we're really lucky to be there this year. We have a team there that's putting on some really cool programming for us, so there's going to be some live music when we arrive, some local talent that way, so we're really excited about that. There's going to be refreshments when you get there. We're getting drink tickets this year for whatever you would like at their terrace restaurant venue, so that's really exciting. In terms of really specific logistics, the arrival festivities start around 3, so if you have any loved ones or fans who want to show up and cheer you on, we recommend that they get there between 3 and 3:30 at the latest. You guys will be arriving around 4 p.m., give or take, depending on how speedy you're riding that day. For my awesome crew volunteers, we'd like you to be parked by around 3. We have parking just a couple blocks away from Place Emily-Gamelin, and your vehicles will stay there the entire weekend until we're ready to leave on the Sunday. Am I missing anything here? I don't think so. I think next slide.
You have to hit yours too.
I hit mine as well. That's news to me. Cool. Are we good? Great. Yes, thank you. Right. Perfect. Anyway, so this is a cool picture of some funky sculptures in the park if you've never been. I think I actually already said what was on this slide. The other thing is just that there is a lovely terrace space at the park, so if you can bring your debit and or credit card, you're also welcome to purchase food and additional refreshments there. I think that's all I had to say about the arrival into Montreal, but please afterwards, if you have any questions, or if you want to just come say hi, I'd love to meet you all. So I think next on our agenda is Michael talking about the bin and bike exchange. Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Great. So the complicated thing that happens at arrival is getting your bikes onto the trucks and all of your bins out for the weekend in the middle of downtown Montreal. And we do it differently every year because Montreal changes every single year. This year, though, the city is being very generous, and it's almost confirmed. They are going to shut down the block of St. Catherine Street beside the park for us to park all of our trucks. So that's going to make it a lot easier. You don't have to walk blocks and blocks like in 2019. So that'll be good. It'll be right beside the park. Just don't. The rustlers are part of the party too, so don't bother them until 4:45 when they're going to start doing their job, unloading the trucks. And we need to kind of be out of there a little after 6 because that park has events going in it constantly. Yeah, so you'll load your bikes onto the trucks. You have to collect all of your things, including your camping gear. So make sure that you bring like a backpack or duffel bag, backpacks or duffel bags to get all your stuff to take with you to wherever you're staying in Montreal. And your bikes will be loaded into the truck, and those will be driven back to Toronto for you. Unless you want to keep it and take it back with you, you can do that if you like. Yeah, so that's the bin and bike exchange. I'll just do this one too. So transportation home. So crew members all have to go back on Sunday morning unless they get a permission from their crew lead. So we do have enough people to drive the vehicles back, so not everybody needs to go back, but you do need special permission from your crew lead if you want to stay longer than Sunday morning. If you do stay in Montreal, that second night won't be covered because you're not staying till Sunday for work. So just know that. Riders who want to go back, there's tons of room in the crew vehicles, so you can drive back with us on the Sunday morning. In the past, we have had a bus leave later in the day on Sunday, and even I think on Monday. That wasn't used very much in 2018, 2019, so we haven't planned it. But if that's something people are interested in, we could do it. There just hasn't been demand for it because lots of people just like taking the train back or driving back with family. Is there, just a show of hands, would people want a bus going back kind of later in the Sunday or Monday? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, we could work something. We could even get we don't need a full bus. We could get something smaller. Okay, cool. Great, so I will pass this back to the co-chairs.
Well, you've heard some things that are different already, but there are some big changes this year. And of course, the bike rally is ever evolving, and the communities that we travel through are also changing constantly. It's been 2 years since we have ridden to Montreal. We've had to sort of reinvent a few things and rediscover. Gabby, myself, Emma Cole, and Harvey, we took a road trip to Montreal a few weeks ago, and we did see some of these differences, so we want to point them out so there are no surprises.
Okay, so first I'm going to talk about wellness. We're doing things a little bit differently this year. So we're doing a pilot program to combine wellness and road support. Don't worry, there will still definitely be wellness involved. So part of this removes a step in the helpline dispatch process and saves on vehicles as well, which is one of our biggest expenses. And obviously we want as much money to go to PWA as possible. We will be joined by 2 professional paramedics. They're event paramedics. They have a specialty in sporting events and have been hired to supplement our wellness volunteers. This isn't in my notes, but I'm just going to go off notes. So basically, road support and wellness, we will have some vans with one from each crew, and also all of road support will be provided with a little bit of a heftier first aid kit so that they can help you a little bit more on the road if you got a bigger cut or something that is easily dealt with. Think of how much help your mom can give you when you get a boo-boo. That's what the road support folks can help with. And they'll have sunscreen and aloe and kind of those simple things to help riders out on the road as well. So there's also going to be a confidential support group for those in recovery. This will run every night from approximately 7 to 7:45. The location and time at each campsite may vary slightly, and the information will be announced in the daily cog, which is that email you get every day. And we're also bringing back yoga sessions. As we said earlier, they're going to be at 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. on day 2 and 4:30 p.m. on day 4.
There's another change this year, and it has to do with the physical treatments. It's unfortunate, but CMCC, the Canadian Memorial Chiropractic College, which has had joined us for many years, is unable to join us this year due to a staffing shortage on their end. They are committed to come back next year for the 25th anniversary, and we would love to have them back. So, with that said, we are putting together a physical treatment team with chiropractors, masseuses, and other specialists. And we are calling for anybody who is on the bike rally who is one of these professionals and would be willing to offer 1 to 2 sessions shifts over the course of the week. And there will be an honorarium for those who do hold their licenses and volunteer in to help us. And if you know anybody who lives in any of these communities that we pass through, we're calling the same thing. We're looking for people to take an honorarium and help us with a shift on a day or two. And next, about the road.
So there's a few location changes this year. Although all our campsites remain the same, our day 2 break number 3 spot is different. Our traditional break number 3 at Schroeder's Cafe and Bakery has been closed and sold. So thank you so much to the Schroeders for their many years of supporting the rally. Our new stop is just down the road at the Mustang Drive-In Movie Theater, a place you may have stopped over the years to take photos, and now you can get up close and personal. Day 4 lunch has also changed temporarily just for 1 year. The Thousand Islands, our traditional lunch spot is at Browns Bay Park. If you've done the ride before, you'll remember you were like on the path on the opposite side of the road, and then you'd cross the road and go into it. So it is under construction and inaccessible this year. They're redoing the whole water line. So our new stop is the Rockport Barn in, you guessed it, Rockport, Ontario. It's a beautiful outdoor event venue, and so yeah, that will be our 1 year change for lunch, and next year we'll be back at Browns Bay. So next I would like to call up Anthony to join us. Surprise, it's your turn.
Thanks very much, Gabby and Sam. When it came time to see who was going to win the most interesting part of the slideshow, apparently I lost. So, as you know, COVID is still with us. It was just announced today we're in our 7th wave here in Ontario. We at PWA continue to monitor it. The thing that has driven our thinking around COVID since the beginning is we are always going to follow every public health measure and recommendation. So we've built this policy around that, but of course, as we know from the last 2 years, COVID sometimes zigs when we think it's going to zag, or the other way around. We will update, if necessary, of public health updates. So let me go through this quickly. This information is also available in the handbook, so it is all there. You can get it there as well. We strongly recommend being fully vaccinated, including a 3rd or 4th dose. I've just heard that apparently they've announced 4th doses. That is, a 2nd booster has just been opened up in Ontario to people 18 and above. Luckily, I just turned 18, so I can do that. We're not going to be asking for any PCR or rapid antigen tests before you leave. Could change, of course, as we know with COVID. If you are not feeling well with COVID symptoms, please stay home. And if you test positive for COVID-19 or have been in close contact with someone who's tested positive for COVID-19, stay home for the event. People who have reached their fundraising minimum and need to stay home because of COVID are eligible for what we call a medical rollover, and your funds will be brought forward to the 2023 bike rally. So we'll go to the next slide. Oh, do I have to do it? Oh. Social distancing and masking. So as we know, the bike rally is a summer event. It's primarily outdoors. As we've seen over the past couple of years, outdoor events tend not to be super spreader events. They tend to be when you're indoors, and poor ventilation, of course, also. But enclosed spaces such as vehicles, washrooms, buses do carry the higher risk of transmission. So you're encouraged to wear a mask when you are in that kind of situation, especially if you feel particularly and personally that is what you'd like to do. Remember that the choice to wear a mask is a personal one. It is each of us to come to our own determination of what the risk is, and everyone is going to respect everyone else's decision on that, whether they wear or not. Please bring at least one high-quality, well-fitting mask. So we're talking N95, KN95, KF94, or you can pick up a mask provided by the bike rally. We will have them available on packing day. So there are some possibilities that there will be mandatory masking. That could be in a case where a partner of the bike rally or a venue is requiring masking, so in that case you will have to. Or it is in a case where you want to protect others if you've developed COVID-like symptoms, and in that case, obviously, please be prepared to wear a mask if asked to do so. For people who are on crew, who are in vehicles, can request to be in a mask-on vehicle, or a vehicle that's only shared by one other person. You need to talk to your crew leads about that. In case you are on the rally and you begin to feel ill, here are the steps to take. You should put on a mask immediately and call the bike rally helpline. We will administer a rapid antigen test, and if you receive a positive diagnosis for COVID-19, we're going to ask you to leave the ride. Any transportation, accommodation, any planning costs, all of that would be provided by the bike rally. Anyone who needs to be removed from the ride due to COVID-19 will also be eligible for the medical rollover of funds to 2023. And any close contacts, so this is tent mates, close friends, also need to be tested and will be asked to take extra precautions to protect others. And just a note, we are not going to have an endless supply of these rapid antigen tests, so it's really only going to be restricted to people reporting symptoms and close contacts of those people. They're not going to be available on general request by participants, but of course if you have someone and want to bring them on, they are yours, feel free. What we will provide? Well, up to 3 high-quality, well-fitting masks per participant, the types I just mentioned. We can do that upon request. If you have your own, please bring your own as well, because it's not an endless supply. Rapid tests for people who become symptomatic. Transportation, other support for participants who may test positive and are required to leave the ride. And finally, to be transparent with you, with everyone on the ride about what's going on. If there is COVID-19 on the ride, we are going to let you know. We are going to do this in terms of like tracking, notifying close contacts, but we are also always going to maintain medical confidentiality around that. And as always, because it is COVID, it's subject to change should public health guidelines change, because that's really what drives our thinking around this. Boom, and I will hand it back. Thank you very much.
So we all ride or crew for different reasons, but there's one thing we all share in common, and it's we raise money for the AIDS service organizations. Fundraising is the core and the cornerstone of what we're here to do. So it is my pleasure to share some pretty amazing news with all of you this evening. We're at $1.1 million. I don't think we've been at this point in a long time, this far out from the ride, but that means we're only 77% of the way there. We have $300,000 more to raise, and we have 30 days to do it. So, 350, even more. With that said, we really need your help. Those in the room, those on the live stream. We need your friends' help, your family's help, your coworkers, your dentist. We need everybody's help. You can make this happen. You got to make the ask. So, really, it's amazing, but we have a lot further to go. And for those who were at our launch party, our goal for this year is $1.5 million. I know we can get there. I know we can move that goal forward. We can make a stretch goal. I know we can pass it.
I also want to mention, in terms of asking everybody, needing everybody's help, I once sent an email. I decided to do the rally like 2 months before the rally was happening, and I once sent an email to literally everyone I had ever emailed ever in my entire life. And I had the wildest donations. Like, my old landlord from 2 apartments ago donated $80, and like my camp counselor from when I was a child donated. So you never know who might donate. Is this?
That's you.
Okay. So that being said, the rally is still not back to full strength after COVID. We're still like working to get this train moving again. With just 4 weeks to go. If you're late getting started, please start today. We have supports for you. Yannick is our fundraising coach. You can reach out to him. You can reach out to your team leads. You can reach out to us. Like I said, I've been there, so reach out to me if you need to. If you're close to your goal, dig in a little deeper. You can pass it. You can get a stretch goal. You can make a new goal. We believe in you. If you've already reached your fundraising goal, increase it. If you don't know what to do, reach out for help. Like I said, we have all sorts of help available, so please reach out.
A few years ago, we started a program called the 4K Club to recognize those people who've passed their minimums but are on the way to top fundraisers. They get a little extra swag that says 4K on it. They can wear it on the rally, and again, we are doing it this year. So if you're in this room and I call your first name, we have a lot of names to get through. There's another slide after this. I'm just going to use first names. Please stand and stay standing.
And let's clap at the end of the
yeah.
list.
So, Rodney R., Douglas, Andrew, Don, Perry, another Don, Tim, Terry, Michael, Jill, Ken, Gord, Brent, Paul, Liam, Eric, Jeff, and Wendy. I have a personal ask. I'd like to move you to the next list, so keep fundraising.
All right, and now we have our current top fundraisers, which means they've surpassed 6K so far. Again, I'll read the first names. We'll get to the end of the slide, and then we can clap and cheer them on and stand up if you're here. So we have Jonathan, Robert, Rob, Stephanie, Catherine, John, Jeff, Eli, Simon, Seamus, Philip, Daryl, Jeff, Mike, Sam, Lawrence, Neil, Steve, Mark, Helen, Dean, and Marilyn Tate. Marilyn got their last name.
There is a 10K club, so we're going to save that for the bike rally, but we want the 6K people to join that club.
So next we're going to invite Suzanne back up, our executive director at PWA, to share some remarks.
I'm a little bit older than that picture, eh? The bottom line is HARS, ACM, PWA, we need you. You heard Javarda's story. It is a very compelling one, and one we see every day. The bike rally is the lifeblood of PWA. And now we are the lifeblood of ACCM and HARS. It's a big responsibility. PWA's budget this year is just under $4 million. The government gives us just under $1 million. We take care of our own. You do. Don't forget that. In 1987, 35 years ago, 3 gay men living with AIDS founded PWA. They wanted to create an agency specifically for people living with HIV. Their focus then was to provide practical, tangible services, because HIV then was a death sentence. They wanted people to leave with something in their hands. 35 years later, we continue to be a practical agency, not because HIV is a death sentence, but because it is a matter of life and death for every single person living with HIV. It still is. That's why we exist. Practically, you come in, you go to our essentials market, which, thanks to COVID, we learned, hey, we got to keep this open so folks can shop every week. Used to be twice a month. We learned that during COVID. You pay for the food. People living with HIV sometimes need income support. I don't know if many folks know, but the poverty line is $20,000 a year. People living on disability, people living with HIV on disability, get less than $14,000 in Toronto. So we provide financial assistance. People come in because they can't afford certain things. They get a couple $100 from us. You provide that money. You come in, you get some vitamins, you get a hug, you get to see Rod. Your money pays for the traditional medicines that Rob gives out. We need you because we take care of our own. We don't rely exclusively on the government. And people living with HIV still need us. Things have changed. Now, most folks who walk through our doors are racialized. Black, Latinx. This is who we see. You can see that in Javardo's story. They face the barriers of anti-Black racism that affects people of color. We have a lot to do. We have a lot more work to go. And I know we'll be here until HIV is done and dusted. So, thank you, everyone. Let's keep fundraising because people need us.
Thank you, Suzanne. Man, I don't know if this is mind-blowing to any of you, but like PWA operates on $4 million a year. Like that's 4 Toronto houses. That's like 3 Toronto houses. So the amount of good that PWA does with that amount of money is just like mind-blowing to me. It's like they're pulling like Mary Poppins bag, like goodness and supports and help for people living with HIV and AIDS. So thank you. So I'm going to talk about safety on the road. Look at those fantastic looking riders. So it starts the night before each ride. Get a good night's sleep so you're alert on the ride. Ensure you are being mindful of adequate nutrition, fueling your body for the challenges ahead. If you're new to long distance riding, you might not have heard the term bonking, but bonking is when you just haven't nourished yourself well enough, unfortunately, for the day, and your body says, I'm done. No, thank you. So you can stop yourself from bonking, which is just running out of energy and cramping up and not being able to ride, by making sure you eat well and you drink well and you have electrolytes, and we have all of that available for you, so take advantage. Preparing your gear the night prior. Fill those water bottles so you don't forget anything the morning of a training ride. Arrive for the ride well rested, nourished, prepared, and setting the stage for a safe ride. That includes having your emergency contact information, having things to fix flats, having your cell phone charged, etc. Is this still me or is this you?
No, don't. I'll move forward on it. So, you know, it also has to do with your, being prepared has to do with your equipment. Making sure that you have the right bike, you've been fitted, the maintenance is done. And of course, you need to have that sort of set for the training rides, which we started a long time ago. But you should consider having your bike just tuned up before the ride. Now's the time to do it. Bike shops are still really busy. And then, of course, having the right equipment with you, whether it's in your jersey or your little saddlebag, to take care of a replacement of a blown tube and the like. And it also means having, making sure your reflectors are on your bike and your lights and so forth. You should always listen to your body, and you should be out there enjoying yourself. So if you've got questions, again, ask your team captains or Steve and Jeff of Training and Support, or Gabby and I, and we're happy to answer them for you. Next slide, please. So, I'm going to break this up, and I'm going to get everybody to stand up, 100% of the room, and I'm going to lose the mic because I'm going to be standing backwards to you. We're doing this, the cycling signs, and if you're a crew, you should know them too. So, left turn, right turn, stop it. I know some people do it on this side, but this side's good too.
Don't do it two hands.
Yeah. Those three are really for drivers and other cyclists. The next ones are just for the other cyclists. So if you're doing this, you're slowing down. So it's like you're about to then stop. Next slide, please. So if you see something on the road, a pothole, a dead animal, a tire, you point at it as you pass by. Gravel or glass, shaking your hand and also pointing at it. And then, of course, streetcar or railroad tracks. 2 tracks. Thanks for participating. And that's what we're here to do, is participate. I think you're up. Oh, no, it's me. Okay, so I've been co-chair for a year and almost 2, and we do this as a 2-year term. So that means my term will come up when we sort of hit Montreal. I'll do a last speech, and I'm ex-co-chair, former co-chair. So Gabby needs a partner for 2023, which is our 25th anniversary. It's going to be an incredible year, and to move as co-chair into their second term in 2024. A few years ago, we changed the nomination process. We created a more open and understanding process so that people of color, Indigenous, and women and people living with HIV could be considered as for the co-chair position. It's, like I said, it's an open nomination process. Nominations are open already. There is a link in the last few newsletters that came from the Bike Rally PWA offices. We will take in the nominations. We'll confirm with anybody who has been nominated that they are willing to accept the nomination, and then we'll move on to 2 interviews with PWA staff and Gabby and myself. And the deadline for the nomination process is July 17th.
So in addition to a new co-chair, who will be my new best friend, we need more steering committee members. As always, it's an ever-flowing situation. So for those of you who don't know, steering committee meets once a month. You kind of heard the descriptions or titles when we were introducing everybody. So there's all sorts of different jobs to do. Some have more work at the beginning of the year and can chill at the end of the year, and vice versa. So you can take that into account if you have scheduling things. We ideally have 2 people in each portfolio, so it lightens the load and you can share the responsibilities. So we are looking for people to join next year's steering committee and lead teams for our 25th anniversary ride. It's going to be really exciting. You can look up all the descriptions on the website, and you could talk to anybody who's currently in the roles if you have any questions, or talk to Sam or I or Michael or Emma Cole. So yeah, reach out. We'd love to have you. It's a good time. We have pizza usually. It's a nice time.
You're up again.
Oh, and it's still me. Hi, me again. So also the David Linton Award, if you haven't already heard about it, go check your emails. The nominations close at midnight tonight. So if you want to nominate anyone for the award, do it tonight, right after this meeting.
Great. Thanks, Gabby. We need some other volunteers, and it's more local in nature. We need people to help us on Packing Day, which is the Saturday of the 6th of August, Departure Day the next day, and these people they're not coming to Montreal with us, but we love them all the same, and we do need people to help us. Again, we'll need some people in Montreal, so maybe this is more a call out for those on the live stream at the moment. We need some people to help us at the park in Montreal, and then when the crew get back to Toronto after the weekend, we need some people at the school where we did the packing day to unpack those trucks. So if you have friends who want to know a bit more about the bike rally, this is a great opportunity, and we'd love to have some wonderful smiling faces join us on these days. Again, you can reach out to staff at PWA or Gabby, myself, if you have names for us. And I'd like to pass this to Anthony.
Sponsors.
Or you want me to do it?
And we're almost there, folks, so thanks for hanging in.
So thank you very much. I forgot I was coming back. If we can move, there we go to the next slide. So once again, we want to thank our sponsors. It's been a really great year this year. We're welcoming back several sponsors. Francisco Remolino and Associates is back with us, as well as the Village Pharmacy, Cycle Solutions, and Vive Healthcare. And we have very big news, which I think all of you know by now. We announced it at the kickoff party. TD Wealth is our presenting sponsor this year, and we are thrilled to have them on board. So thank you to all our sponsors. I'll give it back to you.
Thanks, Anthony. Next year, 25th anniversary.
Yeah, okay. It's coming. So thank you everyone for coming. Obviously next year's our 25th anniversary. Anniversary years are always a big party for us. We always have lots of people come back, people who have ridden in the past. We have folks rope in new ones for the new anniversaries as well. So registration is opening on Packing Day. We're almost there. I cannot believe we're already starting to plan for next year's rally, but we are. So let your friends know, let your old rally friends know, let your new rally friends know. And thank you so much for coming tonight. Next, we're going to be moving on to our Q&A portion.
I have a cue.
You have a cue.
Who here is a first-time rider or crew member? Raise your hands. We got a bunch. I'll promise you something. You're going to want to come back for the 25th anniversary. After you do this ride, you'll sign up.
Okay, so don't be shy. Does anyone have any questions?
I have one more. Anthony, can you grab the bin that's underneath the table so we can show everybody, especially the first-time riders, what a bin looks like? Yes, please come up. Todd from Nutrition's got some information. And while Todd's walking up here, on Tuesday we're releasing version 2 of the handbooks, and you should double check the packing list after Tuesday. So. No, but try this microphone. No, right here, the mic.
That I'm not worried about. No, the live stream. Oh, all right. They can't hear me there. Okay. So a couple of things about nutrition this year. We're trying to reduce our footprint as we try to do most years. So for those of you who are riders and will presumably have a water bottle with you, that's going to be your principal fill up water at breakfast and dinner. Please bring it with you. Crew, if you can bring a water bottle with you, that would be great. If not, I will be supplying you all with one. So for that, we're trying to reduce our small bottle amount down to a minimal amount. Also, in the past, you know that many years ago, if you were on the ride, we used to always bring plates and knives and forks and cups and things. And then we had a bit of an accident with hot water, so we went to paper plates and utensils and that. We're going to stay with the paper plates and the utensils, except at breakfast and dinner, I'd like everybody to bring a plate with them. We're going to do, the caterer has been able to acquire an insert that we're going to be able to put on the plates, and then just when you're done eating, just throw the insert away.
So it'll reduce at least the amount of paper plates that we have. If you wish to bring your own utensils, you're welcome to do that, but you just need to know we won't have a washing station. So you'll either have to wash them yourself with cold water or take them in the shower or whatever it is you need to do. But we'll provide utensils for that. What was the other thing I was going to say? I can't remember now. Could anybody who's on nutrition put up their hand? I've met you all through email, but I haven't met some of you personally. Okay, cool. So I can chat with you two tonight. Great. Thank you.
So Anthony has brought up a bin. That's what the bins look like, different colors, but riders get 2 of them. So after this, if you want to see what it really looks like and what the volume of the bin is, you can come up.
In addition, there's 1 oversized bin for every truck. So if you have like some tent poles or something that don't fit lengthwise, you can put them in the oversized bin, but please keep in mind to keep that very limited because there's only 1 oversized bin per truck.
And that's about 2 to 3 teams per truck.
So, questions?
Okay,
Yes.
and I'm sorry, but I'm going to repeat the questions for the live stream, so because you don't have a mic in the audience.
Go for it, Jeff.
Does the farm have water access this year?
No.
No. And that had to do with swimming? No.
I'll just come over.
No, you can join us for this part.
We will have a school bus going down to the beach again in Port Hope if you want to go swimming.
Next question. Do we have an after party organized in Montreal? Yes. We will have something in the evening. Everybody will have a chance to go back to wherever they're staying after the arrival party, and we'll do it again.
The details are TBA, but there will be a party.
Next question. Right up here at the front. Who is the official coffee supplier? Do we know? Okay, do we know?
We're currently working with McDonald's along the route for their coffee. So that is 90% true at the moment.
I bring caffeine pills with me just in case that generator conks out in the morning. So the question for the live stream was, a gentleman wants to come back on Saturday from Montreal to Toronto. What's being arranged?
Yes, so there are usually people that go back on Saturday. So there will probably be at least 1 crew vehicle going back that day. So if you just want to get in, we can actually talk after. We'll get your info, and we'll just make sure that we hook you up with them.
Second question. So it's essentially a homemade wall with USB ports or plugs, power bars. So you will need your 2-prong, your cord, and whatever your device you want to charge, and it's hooked up to the generator. And it runs between 6 and 8 o'clock at night, but we turn the generator off for at night because we can't run it at the campsites.
And we're going to have twice the amount of charging as we've had in the past. We're getting more charging stations.
So, also note, it is like near the crew, but there's not anybody like stationed to watch and keep track of whose phone is whose or whatever. So, I've never heard of an incident, but just so you know, that's the thing. I recommend bringing a good battery pack. And that way you can charge the battery pack at the charging station at your leisure, and then, or whenever you can, and then charge your own things at your leisure. I've also just left my battery pack plugged into some random outlet at the campsite. So, it's less valuable if someone takes it. Yeah.
I don't have the specifics. I'm not a member of that group.
I don't think she knows what it means.
It's for those who have a past addiction and need a support group. Yeah.
The question was, what are recovery sessions? Recovery sessions is for anyone who has been part of primarily 12-step groups or have had addictions in the past that want to meet with their fellows for support on the rally.
Another question. So that would be a conversation to have with your team cap. So the question was, what are we wearing on day 2 as a jersey? This is if you're a rider. In the past, we had sponsorship jerseys. We've dropped that jersey. So this is an opportunity either for the team to come up with another option for a jersey or a theme, or you just wear your own cycling jersey of your choice. You can wear a jersey of the past. Question is, are we doing Red Dress Day? Yes, we are doing Dress in Red Day on day 3, which is our short day. And for those who are new, you can go to the Facebook page or the Instagram and look at past years. It's a heavily photographed day, so you can see what this means.
Yeah, Dress in Red Day or Red Dress Day is just a day for us to have fun with our outfits, but also to make note and remember why we ride. So obviously red is the AIDS ribbon color. So a lot of people wear fantastic dresses. I myself have dressed in drag before. I had a glitter beard, anything outrageous or anything normal, whatever you like. But it's a great opportunity to have fun.
I do suggest testing, going for a ride around your block where you live with the dress to make sure it works. We will have a pair of scissors at the exit gate.
Any other?
Ari. Yeah, I'm going to pass that to Michael. So while he's standing up, the question is, what is the event in Kingston in the evening when we're there?
Yeah, so the event in Kingston is organized by our partner agency there, Trellis, formerly HARS. It's been at Stages nightclub in the past, and there's local drag queens from Kingston and also drag queens from Toronto who come in and do a show. This year for COVID, as well as for more exposure to the Kingston community, we're going to be doing it at the main park outside of City Hall. So it's going to be a drag show in the park. So that will be nice, and so you'll go to the show there, and then right across the street, I think it's called the King Edward Hotel. There's a bar there that does gay nights all the time, and we can go there afterwards, or you can walk back to your room, depending on what you want to do. But yeah, so the show is going to be outdoors instead of at the club this year.
Ooh, online.
We have online questions.
Awesome. So these questions are from the folks tuning in online. We can all be living vicariously through them in their air-conditioned houses. We're really feeling it. Ooh, I know. Michael, I have a feeling these are going to be office questions, so we can do like a little podcast if you want. So the first question is regarding camping equipment. So if someone doesn't have camping equipment, can we help them out with that?
The answer is yes. So we've gotten some donations and we've got some partnerships with some community programs. So if you're out there and you need camping equipment, take the handbook, write out what you don't have and what you need, and please email the staff or Gabby and I.
Our next question is, are we requiring medical forms this year, and will they be available on the Bike Rally website?
Yes, there is a final medical form that's going to go out and then probably next week. It's going to be available online to fill out through the website. If you don't fill it out online, please do. It's just so much easier for everyone. If you don't, though, you'll need to fill it out by hand on packing day. So we won't give you your stuff until you fill it out, so just do it before, it's easier.
And then I think our final question that I have here is, are riders leaving at the same time each morning, or are we staggering departures?
We typically leave at the same time. It's something we've discussed changing, but for this year, we will be all leaving at the same time.
One exception is the sweeps. They wait about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. The cycling sweeps. Just let everybody get out, and then they're at the back. And then, of course, as we come into Montreal, we bring everybody together so that when we arrive at the park, we look like one uniform group.
Police escort. The question is, do we have a police escort in Toronto or Montreal?
Yes, but the extent to which they will do things for us is still under negotiation. But they will be there.
Okay, so it's a question about the process of coming back from Montreal to Toronto. So in the past, we've had scheduled mass transport for everybody, but over the last few years, it just wasn't used that much, and we were wasting money renting an entire coach bus for just a couple people. All of the crew, or most of the crew, ride in minivans because we have to have the ability to pick up people on the road. So we have all this extra room. There's usually only 2 crew in the van, but there's many more seats in a minivan. So we can accommodate people if they don't have their own transportation home to Toronto from Montreal. We can accommodate people by bringing them in the minivans with us. Typically, most of the minivans they leave Montreal Sunday morning. If you have to leave on Saturday, come and speak to us today, or email the co-chair's email or the info email that you can find on the Bike Rally website. Let us know if you need us to provide you transportation and you have to come back on Saturday. And generally, yeah, so most people these days have been just arranging their own transportation, but we commit to getting you home and helping you with that. So if you need transportation, just let us know and we will work out the details. Go ahead, Mike.
So the question was, when and where would you get your bicycle back? So it's in the handbook. And on the Monday and the Tuesday, Monday late afternoon, Tuesday early evening, at the same place where you did packing day, up just south of Bloor, just east of Jarvis is their public school, and that's where we use the parking lot in their gym. And you just need to come with a piece of ID to pick up your bike. And if you can't pick it up, you can have a friend pick it up, but you need to make sure the staff are aware that who this person is who's going to pick up your bike. You're going to get a license plate for your bike. It's about 4 inches by 3 inches. It's going to have your name. It's going to have your rider number. So that will stay on your bike until you take it off when you bring your bike home here in Toronto or where else you live. So that bike that you put on the truck in Montreal that comes back here does have your name on it. Up front. Dimensions are in the handbook, yeah. I can tell you that Mountain Equipment Co-op sells a duffel bag that is identical to the volume of the bin.
The dimensions are
81.3 by 51.4 by 42.4 centimeters, I think she said. 42.2. You lost 2 millimeters. Todd. Okay, Harvey just has told us the standard airline carry-on will fit into the bin, but it's much smaller than that. So how many airline carry bags would you need to take a bin? Obviously.
And just to remind everyone, in case it's confusing, so all of your stuff goes into the bin. It stays in the bin for the entire ride. The rustlers, who we love, carry all our stuff for us. And they use these bins to do it in a way that is uniform and manageable. Then, on the day that we arrive in Montreal, at arrival ceremony, you have to give the bin back and you have to take all of your stuff. So that means that everything that goes into the bin has to fit into a bag that you can manage yourself that also can fit into the bin. Is that clear? Okay.
Chris. Okay. So for the live stream people out there, Chris, a veteran rider, has reminded us that those white, red, and blue hockey bags are perfect, and you can get about 2 bins into one duffel bag. We'll point out for anybody who's using Via Rail to get back from Montreal to Toronto, Via has changed their baggage allotments, and they have made the bags smaller. So be careful about what size duffel bag you are taking, and if you're taking the train. We have one more question from the audience, then we're going back to online, then we're coming back to here.
Yeah, so there won't be an RV this year, but the event paramedics that we have come with their own rig. And in addition, we're going to work with you guys and talk to you because it's still kind of in flux. But we're likely going to have a minivan where we have like all the seats down flat and we can put a little like air mattress or a cot or whatever back there. So that way anyone who needs like air conditioning and some time to cool off and a little bit of privacy can get that via the minivan or the event paramedic rig.
Just got some online questions here. Will we be getting the routes in advance on Ride with GPS? Yes. They're constantly changing but we will get them out, at least a week or two before. For those of you who don't know, we put all of the routes on the Ride with GPS app. So you just download that onto your phone or does it work on a GPS unit? Yes, yeah. And then you can just go track the route that way while you're riding. And those will be available online beforehand. Sometimes there are changes during the ride because we need to detour around construction or whatever, so those are updated as we go. Another question from Stephen. Yep.
Ours, they'll be pre-printed.
Yep. Yeah, there will be some paper copies available as well each day, but we don't, there's not enough for everyone, and we don't want people relying on them necessarily. Stephen asks, how do I get my bike and my gear, because he's keeping his bike with him in Montreal, to Concordia? Right, okay, so we didn't mention, if you were staying at the Sheraton, which was our partner hotel, so a bunch of people booked there, and then also Concordia, which was the low-cost location. We will have 2 buses going from Place Emily Gamelin, stopping at the Sheraton and at Concordia. So it's basically down René Lévesque from the village, kind of into downtown, and then the buses will circle back. So even if you're not staying at those 2 locations, but you're staying in the hotel district around there, you can hop on that bus, and we'll be able to take some bikes on those buses as well. And more questions about the bins, but those have been answered. So.
All right, back to the room. Any more questions?
Was that you, Helen? Yeah. What time we arrive in Kingston? The 3-day ride. Oh.
So the question is, what time the riders who are doing the 3-day ride that starts in Kingston, they now come in the day before, and they will have dinner with their teams and so forth. They should arrive in Kingston around 4 o'clock at Queen's University.
Any other questions?
I think we're out of questions. So with that said, thank you everyone. We've actually...
I forgot I was told to push the food. There is food. There's a lot of food. Enjoy it, eat it, snack. Eat the snacks, and then think about any more questions. We'll be here also eating snacks, and you can ask us.
We do have a social. It's optional. It's right after this, and Michael's going to give details. But before he takes the mic, I want to thank everybody who came up here to speak tonight and all those who have participated. Thank you.
So if you want to still hang out with each other after this, people are going to go to Dundas and Carlaw, which is the bar at Dundas and Carlaw. It has a big patio, so we'll see you there. But eat this food first.